Hi everyone. You've probably heard quite a lot, if you're doing any self-development work, about the shadow and working with the shadow and the effects of the shadow on your life. If you've watched any other video on my channel, you will note that sometimes I have a different take on things. And, you know, I think that needs celebrating. We need to celebrate the fact that every human has a different, slightly view of different stuff. And I would like today to just talk for just a few minutes of your time about the benefits of shadow. Because when I've been talking over the years in a healing or facilitation of change scenario, people get very scared of their shadow side. They often associate it with negativity. They often associate it with being on a downer. The psychology side of the shadow is often to do with the environments that we've been brought up into and how that affects us and how that shapes us, so on and so forth. So all of that you can look up somewhere else. Today we're talking about the benefit of your shadow. And I really, what floats my boat all of the time is higher dimensional living. And we are for sure, you only have to look around you to see in the struggle of humanity in a really interesting time on this planet, are we not? And we are in, you know, this is the end of November 2019, and we're in a real pivotal point of humanity moving into a lighter times. Some people are calling it the golden era. Other people are talking about it in different terms. My terms, as you will know, is the third, fourth and fifth dimensional type of living. And this is about, you know, the heavenly landscapes through your own heart, through your own mind, through your decisions, through your loving yourself as best you possibly can kind of life. Now, on a previous video, I've talked about just 3 band width areas of the pits and the reasoning mind and the higher mind, and that describes a little bit about the type of emotions that we have and how we can alter them from one to another. Whatever state you're in, you can definitely alleviate the vibration to a higher vibration in some way, shape or other. Not from being massively depressed into the bliss state in one jump, although some people can do that. But by doing it step by step in a very gentle and kind and loving and easier way of facilitating that. So do look up that video if that's of interest. So that gives you a bit of background about what we're talking about today, which is to do with your shadow and your light. And it's to do with going from a duality state. Duality is all about the yin and yang, if you know about the yin and yang symbol. And that's about having darkness in the light and light in the darkness. And it's about going from that state into a unity consciousness, which is the fourth and the fifth dimensional energies that are around us for everybody to access at the moment. And the fourth is all about compassion. And the fifth is about a real community-based living where everybody celebrates everybody else's gifts and you come together and it's much more in harmony. Now, to go from this yin-yang state of light in darkness and darkness in light, it kind of has to remove the middle section and let it all combine. So we end up in a bit of a grey world before that can move to whatever colour you decide or you're born to live. And I've got an exciting series, or hopefully you like it anyway, about all the different colours of the third, the fourth and the fifth dimensions coming in the new year. But for today, this is about the benefit of your shadow. So you have got, you know, if you heard that old Native American saying about you've got 2 wolves on your shoulders, and one is like saying, who are you? What do you think you can do? You can't do that. And the other one's saying, go on, go for it. We can, let's have a go. And one of the old proverbs there was, which wolf are you feeding? Which wolf are we feeding? And which one do we want to leave so it can starve? Now, I like a lot of the old proverbs, and I think there's a lot of truth in many different things, but I'm about unity consciousness. And to go into unity consciousness, it's more about focusing on that positive voice. It's more about building resilience to negative influences so that we can actually alter the vibration of who we are. And when we tend to the vibration of who we are, then a lot of things find us that we unintentionally have actually been blocking. So I'd like to tell you a story about a revelation I had about my shadow side. I was doing a conference up in the hills in Wales at a fabulous place at Lake Vyrnwy a few years ago now. We were doing a Cosmic Awakening series, and it was about wakening up to that full potential that you are. And we were actually working with shadow for the weekend, and dragon energy and all sorts of different things was coming up. It was fantastic. But at one particular moment when I was loving and trying to understand my shadow as much as I possibly could, it changed from this huge weight of kind of like oppression, of you know, like that sort of like brick in your tummy kind of feel, that sort of fearful, keeping me small, self-doubting, affecting self-esteem, all of that sort of stuff. When it came up, and I actually, instead of all of the things that, you know, the training and things have given me of, you know, sweep it under the carpet, cut it out, you know, get angry with it, all of those other things that, you know, we tried all these different stuff, is I just poured and poured and poured and poured love. As much love as I could muster, with the full intention that I was loving all of me, including my shadow. And the most amazing thing happened to me, because it just turned into a puppy. Now, I really, really love puppies. So it's going to be different for you. Or maybe it'll be the same if you love puppies. But it just turned into this puppy. And I was astounded. And I was like, oh, you turned into a puppy. What's that about? And what I got was, thank goodness for that. You've got your life now. I can go to sleep. It was an amazing revelation as far as I was concerned. And I was like, say what? And this puppy said to me again as it was going to sleep and curled up, and I was looking after it. It was like, well, Carol, I've been looking after you all of your life. Now you have it. I can sleep and you can look after me. And I was like, oh my God. And it's just been an amazing revelation that love actually can love your shadow side to the point that it can merge with you so you can still focus more on the light. And I went into inquiry mode about how have you been looking after me, and the benefit of the shadow and the benefit of everyone's shadow I've met ever since has been, we've been trying to look after you. We've been trying to keep you safe. Now, I understand this is a different view of shadow than some people have, but this is just my take, and maybe it resonates, maybe it helps, you know, just one person out there get a different vibration, a different view, a different perspective on your shadow. It might alleviate and release you in the same way as it did for me. So now I understand that whatever behavior our shadow supports, so let's say some people are self-harming, or let's say people are, you know, in a real anxiety mode, or any of the things that you might consider are negative, the shadow side makes no judgment of that. Neither does the light. It just supports you in doing that because it's familiar. And when we have familiar things in play, we feel safer. So even if we're doing something that is self-harming in some way, shape or form, and we can self-harm in a myriad of ways, you know, by continuously choosing the same relationships. we can use substances, we can use all sorts of things to self-harm. And the shadow side will say, okay, let's keep doing that because we know this, it's familiar. Our world stays the same, it stays contained, it's familiar, and therefore it's kind of a warped sense of safety. So your shadow side, with its limited vibration, its lower vibration, it has a ceiling. It's not its fault. It's nobody's fault. It just can't actually access the higher vibes. That's up to you. That's up to me. So the more I was accessing the higher vibes, the more I was actually coming above all of this lower vibrational stuff, the more the shadow side, the inner voice in me, could actually sleep. And the real benefit of this I'm trying to put across is the shadow side was relieved to do so. It was like, you know, it'd been really hard work for this dog trying to be my shadow side. And the moment I took up my own power, the moment I took up my own loving self to a deeper reality, no push and pull, just surrendering to the love that we are, could go into a puppy. It was a lovely puppy. And could kind of hang up its coats and put its boots away if it was in human form for you or whatever it happens to be, so that we divine, we can have more of a say about where we choose to be. Are we going to be in that duality phase of yin and yang in this moment in time? Or are we going to take a step to release our shadow side, to love it and love it and love it? So it goes, okay, you got this. You've filled yourself with so much positivity, loving, surrendering, being, that my job is no longer necessary. You got this. You're past the illusion of needing any safety. There's no such thing anyway. And we're out of that frame, so my shadow could sleep. Or maybe it could start to dance in celebration that I'd finally got it. I'll leave that one up to you. See what you think. So yeah, if you want some more information on this, guys, just comment on the fields down below, and let me know your views, or if you need any assistance from my perspective on loving that shadow into a more positive place. Because the benefits are extraordinary. It's like being released from a lot of fears. It's like being set free. It's empowering. It's enlightening. It's enchanting. Lots of love, everybody. See you soon. Bye for now.